When we find ourselves constantly hitting a wall in a demeaning relationship, it is usually not for a lack of effort, but because we have chosen the wrong stage and become mere supporting characters in someone else's play. It was Sarah Harrison's birthday, the most popular girl on campus. To celebrate, I had specially ordered 999 red roses. I also picked out a diamond necklace that cost a small fortune. The price tag on the piece was a cool $250,000. Right as I was about to call her and ask her to dinner, floating lines of text suddenly appeared in my field of vision. They looked like movie subtitles that only I could see. "Oh, look at our second male lead. Morrison Thorne," the text read. "He actually thinks he can buy our heroine's heart with his family's blood money. He has no clue that the more he loves her, the more Sarah will absolutely despise him." I turned on my heel and handed the flowers and the necklace to a different girl standing nearby. She was the campus gold digger who had been chasing me for months. Newbie question: why is she so repulsed by him? Isn't he basically a rich, handsome model? It is because the main lead, Caleb Miller, has a love magnification system. Every time the second male lead, Morrison, shows even an ounce of affection towards Sarah, her hatred for Morrison grows exponentially while her love for Caleb doubles. Morrison is nothing more than a human plot device designed to bring the real couple together. Check it out. Caleb is already lurking behind that oak tree. He's just waiting for the exact moment Morrison gets shot down. That way he can swoop in right on time. He wants to play the hero and comfort her. He is just trying to boost his favorability score. It is a total classic move from our supposed hero. I froze in place and let my eyes follow the directions in the subtitles. Sure enough, Caleb was standing right there under the tree. There was a guy in a cheap, plain white shirt watching us. It was definitely Caleb Miller. He was the brilliant scholarship student my family had been sponsoring for years. He was the one Sarah always praised for being so hardworking and kind. He was looking right at me with a smug, condescending smirk on his face. In that single moment, everything finally made perfect sense to me. I finally realized why Sarah's feelings for me had completely tanked out of nowhere. She was the one who said she liked me first, but as soon as I fell for her, she started acting like I was a leper. It turned out my affection was just a ladder for Caleb to climb. He must have spent the whole time laughing at me, like I was some kind of circus clown. I looked down at the massive bouquet of roses in my arms. I could not help but feel a bitter, ironic laugh bubbling up in my chest. "Morrison Thorne." Sarah's voice barked out, snapping me back to reality. Her tone was icy and dripping with visible annoyance. Here we go, folks. Get ready for the classic triple threat rejection. First, she will ask if I am crazy. Then she will tell me to stay away. And finally, she will say my gifts make her sick. Let the countdown begin. Poor Sarah has to deal with this kind of harassment every single day. "Caleb, go save your girl." She was wearing that white sundress I always loved so much. She had no makeup on and was glaring at me with her brows furrowed in anger. "What do you want now? Didn't I tell you to stop bothering me? I do not want to see your face. Just stay away from me, Morrison. And stop shoving these tacky, expensive toys in my face." Honestly, it makes me want to throw up. Every single word out of her mouth matched the subtitles perfectly. A cold shiver ran down my spine as I realized the system was real. The text said that the more I loved her, the more she would hate me. So I wondered what would happen if I just stopped loving her. I looked past her and started scanning the crowd for someone else. Finally, I spotted a girl in a crop top with heavy makeup. It was Lily Thompson, the captain of the dance team. Everyone on campus knew she was a gold digger who had been eyeing me for months. I called out her name as loud as I could. "Lily, come over here." Lily looked stunned for a second, but then her face lit up with pure joy. She practically sprinted across the lawn in her high heels to get to me. She looked at me with wide, expectant eyes. I shoved the massive bouquet of roses into her arms without a word. "These are for you, Lily," I said. She just stood there staring at the flowers in total shock. It took a few seconds for it to sink in, but then she let out a scream of pure delight. "Oh my God, Morrison! Thank you so much," she squealed. I took a quick look at Sarah to see her reaction. She was staring at me with those same cold eyes, but I caught a flicker of something else. I could not tell if it was annoyance or actual anger. The subtitles were going crazy now. Wait, what is happening? This is not in the script. Has Morrison Thorne lost his mind? Why is he giving the flowers to a side character like Lily? I let a small smile play on my lips. Then, right in front of Sarah, I snapped open the velvet jewelry box. The diamond necklace sparkled brilliantly in the afternoon sun. It was throwing off rainbows in every direction. I looked Lily in the eye and told her if she called me daddy, the necklace was hers. Lily was practically shaking with excitement. She was vibrating with joy as she stood on her tiptoes. She gave me a quick kiss on the cheek before whispering the word in my ear. Daddy, she whispered breathlessly. I reached out and pulled her close by the waist. I pulled her right against me and laughed. Come on, Lily, let's go for a ride. Do you want to go for a spin? I asked. Lily was so excited she was practically glued to my side as we walked away. I kept my arm around her as we turned to leave. I did not give Sarah a single glance as we walked past her. By this point, the scrolling text in my vision was absolutely losing it. The comments were coming in faster than I could read them. Oh my God, the script is totally ruined. Where's the writer? Someone explain what is going on. Did the plot just change? What kind of crazy twist is this supposed to be? Why did the simp suddenly dump the heroine for a gold digger? There is no way this is real. This has to be some pathetic attempt by Morrison to make Sarah jealous. It is so incredibly obvious what he is doing. Exactly. There's no way our girl Sarah is going to fall for such a cheap, transparent stunt. I hopped in my Lamborghini and sped away with Lily in the passenger seat. She was already busy taking selfies for her Instagram story. More subtitles drifted past my eyes as we hit the highway, while Morrison actually left her standing there. The script is officially off the rails now. Poor Sarah is just standing there in shock. She looks like she is about to be sick. Honestly, it is better that Morrison is gone. Our hero Caleb will swoop in and save her now that she is vulnerable, the text said. I could not help but let out a cold, cynical laugh. Caleb just pulled a sad little cupcake out of his backpack. He is whispering happy birthday to her right now. It is a tiny cupcake, but he saved up his lunch money for a week to buy it. The thought is what counts, right? Sincere feelings are worth way more than money. Wait, why does Sarah look like she wants to be anywhere else? She said thanks, but she can't stop staring down the road where Morrison's car disappeared. She looks miserable. Morrison really hurt her feelings this time. She did not even take a bite of the cupcake. She told Caleb she wasn't hungry and just walked back to her dorm alone. This is all Morrison's fault for ruining her big day. A few days later, I was grabbing lunch in the campus cafeteria when Caleb Miller showed up at Sarah's table. He pushed a few tiny scraps of meat from his tray onto her plate. You need to eat more, Sarah, he said softly. You have lost weight lately, he added with a look of pure pity in his eyes. Don't let people who don't matter get to you. He isn't worth your tears. Sarah gave him a weak, forced smile while she picked at her rice with a fork. She clearly had no appetite. Right then, a group of girls at the next table started screaming in excitement. Oh my God, look at Lily Thompson's Instagram. She and Morrison are at the Halo. You mean that place where dinner is like $1,000 a person? The one where you need a reservation months in advance? Yeah, that 3-star Michelin place. This picture is insane. That tomahawk steak is literally bigger than her head. Sarah's hand froze midair. She reached for her phone almost instinctively. She unlocked it and opened the app she had been avoiding for the last 3 days. She scrolled straight to Lily's profile. She saw Lily looking absolutely flawless in a designer dress. Lily was glowing in front of the camera. Lily had a dazzling smile on her face. Around her neck, sparkling in the light, was the necklace. It was the $250,000 diamond necklace that was supposed to be Sarah's. The diamonds were blinding. There was another photo of Lily practically sitting in my lap while she fed me a piece of steak. She looked so in love. The caption was like a knife to Sarah's chest. Daddy says he loves it when I cut his steak for him, it read. The post had thousands of likes, and the comments were full of people from school sucking up to her. It was a total frenzy. That word, daddy, seemed to hit Sarah like a physical blow. She looked down at her own plate of sad cafeteria food. She stared at the soggy vegetables and bland tofu in front of her. She looked like she was about to be sick. A wave of bitter humiliation washed over her. The food in her mouth suddenly felt like cardboard, and she could not even swallow. Morrison and his trashy girlfriend are honestly the worst. They have made poor Sarah look like she's going to faint. She is shaking so hard, she can't even hold her fork. Caleb saw what was happening and scowled at the screen. He looked annoyed and disgusted by the whole display. He noticed the look on Sarah's face and tried to comfort her. "Just ignore them, Sarah," he said gently. "They're just shallow people. What's the point of all that flashy, expensive nonsense anyway? It is all just for show. We are better than them, Sarah. Our connection is based on real values and a spiritual bond, not money." A few days ago, that speech might have worked on her, but right now it sounded incredibly hollow. Every word Caleb said felt like he was mocking her. "It is easy for you to say," she thought bitterly. "It is not like you could ever give me a life like that anyway." For the first time, she did not agree with him. She slammed her fork down on the table with a loud clatter. Her voice was sharp with a resentment she had never shown before. "I'm not hungry anymore," she snapped. She stood up and ignored Caleb as he called out her name. She walked right out of the cafeteria without looking back. She needed to get as far away from everyone as possible. She found herself alone on the school track. The cold evening breeze did nothing to calm the fire in her chest. Her mind was stuck on a loop, replaying that photo of Lily in my arms. It was driving her insane. She could not stop thinking about Lily feeding me that steak. It felt like a personal insult. She remembered all the times I had invited her to those same restaurants. I had begged her to go with me. She had rejected me every single time, claiming she hated that kind of luxury. She had acted so high and mighty back then. She had convinced herself that she was above all that material stuff. She thought she was special because she did not care about money. Now she realized she did not actually hate it at all. She had just gotten used to saying no to me. She loved the attention I gave her, even while she looked down on the way I showed it. She had taken me for granted. But now that I was giving all that attention to Lily, everything had changed. The life that was supposed to be hers was being lived by someone else. She felt a deep, aching sense of loss and jealousy. More subtitles started flying across my vision as I drove. Morrison is such a jerk for doing this to Sarah. He is clearly just trying to get a reaction out of her. He is doing this on purpose because he is bitter. He wants to hurt her because she rejected him. It is so toxic. Flaunting his money like this just to spite her is honestly disgusting. Poor Sarah just isn't used to being treated this way. "Caleb, you need to go and comfort her." Morrison is clearly still obsessed with her. He is only doing this to get her attention. It is a pathetic, twisted kind of love. Exactly. The more he tries to show off, the more obvious it is that he can't get over her. Sarah is just that powerful. I took one look at those delusional comments and just turned off my phone. I did not care what they thought. I finished the last bite of my steak and enjoyed the flavor. It was honestly the best meal I had ever had. Sarah and Caleb did not speak for 2 days after that. Finally, Caleb used some of his scholarship money to buy her a $20 silver necklace she had been eyeing. That was all it took for her to forgive him. The subtitles were full of people gushing about how sweet he was and how that was what real love looked like. I almost burst out laughing. I had offered her a $250,000 necklace, and she called it trash. She had looked at me with pure disgust. Now she was crying over a $20 piece of junk from a mall kiosk. A week later, it was Lily's birthday. I was taking her out for another expensive dinner. As we were driving, I saw 2 familiar faces stranded on the side of the road by a broken-down electric scooter. Caleb was covered in sweat, trying to fix the thing. His hands were covered in grease as he struggled with the motor. Sarah was standing next to him, looking absolutely miserable. She had a huge grease stain on her white dress and looked like she was about to snap. It looked like a total mess. Oh no, what bad luck for our couple. Why did the scooter have to die right now? Poor Sarah's feet must be so sore. Don't worry, this is just a romantic little obstacle for our main couple to overcome together. This is the perfect chance for Caleb to play the hero and give her a foot rub. As I drove past, the roar of my engine caught their attention. Sarah looked up immediately. Lily started giggling and leaned out the window to wave at them. "Hey there, scholarship boy." "Hi, Sarah," she called out in a sugary sweet voice. "Are you guys practicing being poor today?" Do you guys need a ride or something? She mocked. Caleb stood up and glared at me, his face turning bright red. Morrison, Lily, that is enough, he yelled. I did not even bother looking at him as I stepped on the gas. I left them in a cloud of exhaust as I sped away. I saw Sarah in the rearview mirror, just standing there staring after us. He is totally doing this to humiliate them. How disgusting can one person be? The subtitle screamed. Who cares about a fancy car anyway? Sarah doesn't care about material things like that. She is just disgusted by his behavior. She will always love Caleb no matter what. I highly doubted that. I was about to throw the most lavish party of the year for Lily. We had the party at the Summit, the most exclusive restaurant in the hills. I did not even have to advertise it. Every rich kid on campus was there, and they were all live streaming the whole thing to everyone at school. The comments were going wild. I can't believe this party. That cake is like 6 feet tall. Sarah's little cupcake looks like a joke now. Wait, Sarah is watching the live stream. She looks absolutely devastated. Her face is white as a sheet. Caleb and Sarah are fighting now. I think their relationship is officially over. She just hung up on him. Sarah is crying her eyes out. It is all Morrison's fault for showing off like this. He is a monster. I actually feel bad for her now. But then I remember how she treated Morrison, and I think she kind of deserves it. I just laughed to myself as I read the comments. Some things, once they are gone, can never be fixed. The campus message boards were absolutely exploding after the party. The top thread was titled, Prince Morrison Dump School Beauty for Gold Digger. Most of the comments were calling me a scumbag and attacking Lily. Lily showed me her phone with a pout on her face. Everyone is saying such mean things about me, Morrison, she said. I just smiled and asked her what she thought about it. She just scoffed and looked at me with those sharp eyes of hers. I don't care at all. They are just jealous, she said. They think Sarah is some kind of saint because she is poor and pretty. They think only she deserves your money. But I know the truth. I am honest about what I want, and that bothers them. At least I don't pretend to be something I am not. That was what I loved about Lily. She was honest, and she always knew how to make me feel like the center of her world. Wait, Lily is actually making a lot of sense right now. Is it just me, or is she kind of cool? The subtitles mused. Everyone needs to wake up. These moral standards are totally warped. Another comment read, a few days later, I was in the library with Lily. We were just minding our own business when Sarah slammed a book down on our table. She was looking at me with pure rage. Morrison, do you really have to keep doing this? She demanded. I just looked up at her with a bored expression. Is there something I can help you with, Miss Harrison? I asked. Stop playing games, she snapped. You are only doing all of this to get my attention. It is so pathetic and empty. Using Lily just to try and make me jealous is honestly sad. You need help. The subtitles were cheering her on now. Yes, Sarah, tell him off. He is definitely still obsessed with her. His love is so twisted. I just laughed and took Lily's hand. Sarah, you really think highly of yourself, don't you? When I wanted you, you were everything to me. Now that I don't, you are absolutely nothing. You are literally just air to me now. Her face went pale instantly. She turned around and ran out of the library in tears. Caleb was watching from behind a bookshelf nearby. He looked absolutely furious. Warning, Caleb's hatred for Morrison is reaching dangerous levels. Prepare for trouble, the subtitles flashed. Oh man, he is really losing it now. This is going to get ugly. Ever since I stopped chasing Sarah, the system seemed to be malfunctioning. Sarah's feelings for Caleb were actually starting to drop now that I wasn't around to boost them. They were fighting all the time. I thought Caleb might just give up, but I underestimated how low he was willing to go. One night, I was heading home after a business meeting. Suddenly, the subtitles started screaming at me in bright red letters. Caleb has lost his mind. He hired a gang to go after Lily. They have her cornered in the alley behind the north gate. There are no cameras there. They are going to take photos of her to ruin her reputation. He thinks if she is disgraced, a rich guy like Morrison will dump her instantly. He is a literal demon. Wait, is our hero actually the villain now? Did the writer get hacked? This is not how it's supposed to go. I slammed on my brakes and pulled a hard U-turn. I sped toward the north gate as fast as I could. I screeched to a halt at the entrance of the alley and jumped out of the car. I could hear men laughing and Lily screaming in terror. "Look at this one, boss. She is even hotter in person," one of them said. "Keep screaming, sweetheart. Nobody is coming to help you." Right as they were about to tear her clothes, I charged in. I slammed into the first guy and knocked him straight to the ground. Before they could even react, I was on them. I laid into them with everything I had. I could hear the sound of bone breaking as my fists hit their faces. They did not stand a chance. In a matter of minutes, all three of them were groaning on the pavement. Lily scrambled into my arms, sobbing hysterically. I wrapped my jacket around her shaking shoulders and told her she was safe. "I'm here, Lily. Don't be afraid," I whispered. Right then, Caleb and Sarah appeared at the entrance of the alley. Caleb looked shocked to see me there. He tried to hide his anger at his plan failing. "Oh my God, Lily, are you okay?" he asked, acting like he was worried. "This is terrible. I can't believe something like this happened so close to campus." Sarah was standing right behind him, looking pale. "Don't worry, Lily. Only the four of us know what happened here tonight," Caleb said. "We will keep it a secret to protect your reputation. Morrison, I know you care about her. As long as we keep this quiet, your family never has to know she was tainted. They won't have any reason to break you guys up." Oh my God. He is actually trying to convince Morrison that she was assaulted. That is so sick, the subtitles flashed. He wants Morrison to dump her because he thinks she is dirty now. This guy is a literal monster. I could not stand to hear him say another word. I turned around and slapped him across the face as hard as I could. Blood started trickling from his lip. "Shut your mouth, you little rat," I growled. I picked Lily up in my arms, and she clung to me, burying her face in my chest. "Let's go home," I said. While Morrison's protector energy is off the charts. Lily definitely picked the right guy. The subtitles were cheering. Sarah looks completely stunned. She is looking at Morrison in a completely different way now. Sarah did not take her eyes off me the entire time. She watched as I carefully wrapped Lily in my jacket and carried her away. She saw the way I protected her and cared for her as if she were the most precious thing in the world. I could see the regret in her eyes. That was the kind of love she had thrown away. I walked right past her without saying a single word. I saw her lips move as if she wanted to say something, but no sound came out. She just watched us leave. Sarah did not show up to class for the next few days. I knew exactly what was happening because of the subtitles. Sarah hasn't left her dorm in 3 days. She isn't eating anything, and she's ignoring Caleb. Our main couple is falling apart. This is all Morrison's fault for being so charming. Wait, I actually think Sarah deserves this. She treated him like trash when he loved her, and now she is miserable because he stopped. I just ignored the comments and went about my business. A week later, there was a formal gala for the student union. My family was the biggest sponsor, so I was seated at the head table. Sarah was there too, as a student representative. She looked different. She was wearing a pale blue cocktail dress instead of her usual plain clothes. She had her hair down and was wearing the dress I had bought for her months ago. She looked beautiful. She had looked at the dress with such disgust back then, but now she was wearing it to try and get my attention. She walked straight toward me. Her eyes lit up when she saw me looking at her. She picked up a drink and headed straight for my table. Sarah looks incredible in that dress. She is definitely wearing it for Morrison. I knew she still loved him. The subtitles were arguing back and forth, but I just watched as she stopped right in front of me. She looked nervous. "Morrison," she said softly, Could I talk to you for a minute?" It was the first time she had ever sounded like she was begging me for something. A year ago, I would have done anything for that look. Now, I felt nothing. Before I could even answer, Lily leaned in and wrapped her arm around mine. "My boyfriend is busy right now," she said with a smirk. "Can't whatever you have to say wait until later?" Sarah went pale and clutched her dress tightly. She ignored Lily and kept her eyes locked on mine. I could see tears starting to well up in her eyes. "Please, Morrison, just for a few minutes," she begged. The subtitles were going crazy. "Oh my God, Sarah is crying. Morrison, you heartless jerk. What is there to talk about?" I asked coldly. "Do you want to talk about how you used to treat me like an idiot? Or do you want to talk about how you are invisible to me now?" Sarah looked like she had been slapped. I didn't mean any of that," she stammered, her voice breaking. "Please, just stop treating me like this." She was finally feeling the weight of her mistakes. Now, all that I wasn't around to worship her, she was panicking. Caleb Miller finally had enough. He stood up and pulled Sarah behind him, glaring at me. "That is enough, Thorne. What kind of man are you, humiliating a girl like this in public?" I just laughed. "What kind of man I am is none of your business, Caleb," I said. I looked him up and down with total disdain. "By the way, Caleb, whose clothes are those? Are they the ones my family bought for you with your scholarship money?" I stepped closer to him with every word, letting my presence loom over him. "You were here on my family's dime, at a party my family paid for. Where do you get the nerve to raise your voice at me?" Caleb's face turned a deep shade of purple, and he couldn't find a single word to say. I turned my attention back to Sarah. "And you, Sarah? Stop the pathetic act. Did you really think you could treat me like a joke and expect me to come crawling back? My time and my affection are expensive, and you have officially run out of both. Now take your boyfriend and get out of my sight. You are both exhausting to look at." I took Lily's hand and walked out onto the balcony. Is Morrison Thorne out his mind? How can he talk to her like that? This is so cruel. I feel so bad for Caleb. His pride was just destroyed. I hate to say it, but Morrison is right. None of you cared when they were using him like a puppet. You can't blame him for being done with them. Sarah is in her dorm crying over the old gifts Morrison gave her. She kept the teddy bear. She is looking through all his old texts and sobbing. It is too late now, though. On the day final grades were posted, a huge crowd gathered in the main hall. I pulled up in my car and saw Sarah standing there. She was staring at a row of failing grades next to her name. She looked like she was about to collapse. For a girl who built her whole identity on being a top student, this was the end of the world. She saw me and ran straight toward my car. She threw her arms out to block me from leaving. She was wearing the white sundress again. Everyone was staring and whispering as she approached. I didn't even roll down the window. Suddenly, she dropped to her knees right on the asphalt in front of my car. The subtitles exploded with shock. She was sobbing as she looked up at me through the windshield. "Morrison, please. I am so sorry for everything. I was so blind," she wailed. "I should never have treated you like that. I was wrong to let Caleb get between us. Please, just come back to me. I will do anything you want." She started slapping herself across the face, the sound echoing through the parking lot. Caleb came running out of the crowd to try and pull her up. "Get away from me, Caleb," she screamed. "This is all your fault. If it wasn't for you, Morrison would still love me. Stay away from me." Caleb stumbled back, looking completely heartbroken. He never thought she would turn on him like that. I just rolled down the window and told her I didn't love her anymore before driving away. Sarah collapsed and was taken to the infirmary, but a few hours later, she cornered Caleb on the roof of the engineering building. She was absolutely hysterical. "You destroyed my life, Caleb. You made me throw away the only person who ever truly cared about me," she shrieked. She pulled out a knife and lunged at him. She stabbed him over and over again, her face covered in his blood. Caleb looked at her in total shock as he collapsed to the ground. She dropped the knife and stared at her hands, laughing through her tears as the sirens approached. She sent me one last text apologizing and promising to love me in the next life. Caleb was dead and Sarah was going to prison. The love magnification system had finally vanished for good. I pulled up to the campus gates where Lily was waiting for me. Lily saw the ring box in my hand and gasped, her eyes filling with tears of joy. "Daddy, is that for me?" she whispered. "I hope you always have the strength to define yourself and the courage to seek a love that is honest, passionate, and real."